Welcome to another program, Caribbean Music Line. And today in the studio, I have our special guest, Mr. Gideon Kwashi. He is the CEO and the Managing Director of Maximum One Production Limited. And we will be talking a little bit today about GQ, his life, his music, and obviously, you know the program. We are talking about copyrights. And also we'll be diving into GQ's experience as a producer, an executive producer, and hopefully helping us and you, our viewers, to understand our program. So GQ, it's a pleasure having you today. Nice let's just start one time. We want to deal a little bit about you, GQ, Gideon Kwashi. Tell us a little bit about you, your life, how you got involved in this whole music, and what does it mean to you from a lad growing up?
Okay, from the beginning. We'll start from the beginning.
Okay.
I always had this passion for music ever since I was like a little kid. I remember in growing up, my mother had a piano.
Okay.
I was like 5, 6 years old. She had a piano and she used to play the piano. No, I think we had an organ first. And she used to play the organ. And I just kind of like, every now and then I'll just play a little bit, and try to fool around what she doing, with the lessons and stuff. I went to about, let's say, secondary school, but I did a little music in secondary school.
Right.
Like Trinity's College of Music.
Right.
And there, I learned to read music.
Okay.
So now I could read music now, so now I could play music. I could now understand what my mother doing now, and I could actually and at that time we went from an organ to a piano. So
right.
Piano, and I used to just play, follow some chords, follow her lessons like what she's doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
And afterwards, it was just like a passion. Just now and then I do that.
Okay.
My real interest, I always loved music. But my real interest, growing up in my later teens, was DJing.
Yeah, a DJ. Okay.
One of the other passions I had, growing up with friends around, is hooking up. I always liked to experiment in hooking up stuff.
Hooking up meaning what?
Like
why?
Stereo,
Okay,
I remember like back in the days we had radiogram. I know a lot of people might know what is a radiogram now.
Right.
But we had a radiogram. And my brother-in-law gave me a stereo. That time, them stereo sets now came out. Stereo set, I remember that. And I used to hook up the stereo set to the radiogram and hook up speakers. And so I always had that passion from back then.
Right, okay.
So when we got a little older, my friends and them, we always used to buy records. My sisters and brothers used to always buy records and stuff like that. And we used to little house party in those days. My friends will invite me over to play some music, boy. Play some music for me, And I'll be the hookup man.
Right.
I'll always try to invent because we'll be borrowing different neighbors' things, putting sometimes 2 radiograms together.
Right.
And,
okay.
So that's where I got the passion for hooking up. I always love hooking up stuff.
And tell us a little bit about the whole DJ life, because something I think I heard you said that you learned to read and write music. And I think in the music industry, do you think that is important for a producer, even though we're going to get into your production? How important is it to read or write music, or at least do some kind of music background to be a producer?
You must have that foundation.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, I know a lot of producers now, and because of technology now,
right? Yeah.
A lot of producers don't have that.
Okay.
So they just have a natural musical ear, which also works, because
right.
If we fast forward and go into production, but I remember one of the guys that kind of inspired me to get into production knew nothing about music.
Okay.
But he had an ear.
Right.
So he'll know what chords and, But the foundation of knowing music tones, not music tones, sorry, but learning to read, and once you have a basic understanding on music, it will make it easier.
Right.
Make it easier.
Yeah, because adding to that, one of the things that I am recognizing, and even in the Caribbean region, how important even that is to getting your music in the right ear, because I have found as a listener, you know, sometimes we say, you know, that music sound good, that music sound good. What makes music sound good from your standpoint?
Well, me, and again back from the DJ days, if there's one thing I couldn't take was like distortion.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
back in those days, and when I talking about the radiogram and the stereo thing, you had no choice, because once of the people in the party is the distortion.
Right.
You know, late in the latter DJ days when we started buying more equipment, I always had a thing for quality. Always make music sound a certain way. I always try to stress on the sound.
Yeah, sound.
You know,
okay.
yeah. I remember like passing by bars and stuff like that, and sometimes you pass by a bar with a DJ system, and all the men talking, jump and talking, and there's music playing, and that does kind of like irritate my ear, you know.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so I always try to get that sound, that sound. So I was always like focusing on that.
Right. Okay.
That's why when I got into music production, one of the first things I try to get is that what I spent years on is trying to work on that sound, that song. You know?
Right. Okay. And
Yeah.
and what was the transition? Give us a little bit before we take a break now. A little bit on the transition from being a DJ to getting into production. How was that transition? Because we want people to know and to learn from our program. It's very informative. And as a producer, there are other people who will be hearing. So we're taking it step by step from being a DJ, the transition now going into the concept of a studio.
I'll tell you a joke. I never thought I'd be a producer. Eh?
Serious.
I was just like, again, the love for music. Actually, I had that production thing in me and I didn't know. Because I remember, again, long time you're running, you know, you're gonna run, training in the back and think. But anytime I run in, I don't ever think of a song that's playing. I always have a beat in my head, you know, like,
Right,
you know, I just
yeah.
run into, and I'll create this beat in my head, dum, tak, dum, dum, tak, dum, dum, you know, and
Right, okay.
I'll hear bass and everything, but never somebody's song. Most of the time when I run in, but I just ignore it. It's just me, you know. It's just like because in those days we didn't have any Walkman. Well, I didn't have any Walkman.
Right, right, okay.
So I just run, and I would just create my own rhythm to run to, you know. If I want to run faster, I just speed up the rhythm. If I want to run slower, if I walk in, I'll think, you know, and this is what I'll do.
Right, right.
But it's always my own thing. Very, very rare I'll be thinking of another song. That time I wasn't thinking about being a producer. I was a DJ. You understand?
Right, okay, okay.
And DJing for me was just a hobby. I never took it seriously because for me, like, and I don't want to be sounding boastful, it was never a challenge.
Oh, okay.